Hello, Abnormal Investigations. Got another encounter for you. This is a Dogman encounter where a person said that a dogman actually tried to kill them at the age of 16. Also, tonight, don't forget, I'm going to be live, boots on the ground at 9 o'clock p.m. Central Daylight Time. That is tonight, which will be an hour after this video. Come over and join us, guys. We look forward to having you there. It should be a pretty interesting night. We've been having some real interesting things happen, some pretty scary stuff, and I'd like to welcome y'all to come over and join us tonight on the live. I still remember that warm summer evening in mid-July. I had just turned 16 and gotten my driver's license. I loved going for drives through the woods, finding solace in the silence of the solitude. As I drove down the deserted road, the country music playing on the radio seemed to match the rhythm of my heart. I felt free and alive in the country. The sun was setting, casting a golden glow over the trees. I rolled down my windows, taking in the sweet scent of the blooming wildflowers. It was a perfect evening, one that I would never forget. As I continued driving, I noticed a disgusting smell like a wet dog, but 10 times worse. I figured it was just a dead raccoon on the side of the road. I tried to ignore it, and I kept driving. But the smell grew stronger. I started to feel a sense of an upset stomach from the smell. I decided to turn around and head back home, hoping to escape the smell, but as I stopped to make a U-turn, the smell became almost overwhelming. As I finished my U-turn and started back, I saw something odd. A large black splotch in the middle of the road. I tried to brush it off as a shadow or just a stain on the road. But as I got closer, the splotch seemed to move. I slammed on my brakes, not knowing what I was about to see. Curiosity got the better of me, and I decided to take a closer look. I cautiously approached the splotch. That's when I saw it, a pair of eyes staring right back at me. I froze. My mind, it was racing with so many what-ifs I couldn't even tell you. The eyes seemed to bore into my soul, and I felt a sense of dread come all over my body. I was in terror. I wanted to run and flee. Suddenly, the creature stood up, its massive frame towering over my truck. I gasped, trying to process, what the hell am I seeing? The creature was once down on the road like a spider, as flat as it could, and now it was standing up 7 feet over my truck. The creature's fur was black as coal, and its teeth seemed to gleam in the moonlight. I was paralyzed with fear. I couldn't move, couldn't speak. All I could do was stare at this creature in horror. The creature took a step closer, its eyes fixed on me. I could feel its hot breath on my skin, and my heart was racing with fear. I tried to turn the key in the ignition, but my hands were shaking so much. The creature reached out a massive hand, and it placed it on the roof of my truck. I felt a surge of adrenaline as I realized I had to get out of there fast. I managed to start the truck, and I slammed it into gear. As I sped away, I could see the creature in my rearview mirror, its eyes glowing with a brightness, kind of like an animal on the highway or a deer that's eyes are caught in the bright lights. I didn't dare look back again. I kept my eyes fixed on the road ahead, my heart pounding in my chest. I could hear the creature behind me, its roar echoing through the woods. I knew I had to get away from it. I knew that it was upset, and it was now chasing me like a predator. It wanted to kill me. As I took the turn, hoping to shake the creature off my tail, it was too fast. It didn't take the turns like I did. It would cut through the pastures. It kept pace with me, its eyes fixed on me with a look of death. I floored at the speedometer, climbing higher and higher, but as fast as you can go on gravel, you are limited. but no matter how fast I went, the creature kept pace with me, using the woods as shortcuts and cut-throughs. He knew exactly how to chase down a vehicle. And then it really started to gain on me, because that's whenever I saw its face in my rearview mirror and the brake lights. Its eyes burning with fierce determination, I knew I had to think fast. I remembered a sharp turn up ahead and decided to take it. I swerved into the turn, hoping to lose the creature, but it was too agile. It followed me through the turn, its claws scraping against the pavement. I was running out of options. I could see a narrow bridge up ahead and decided to make a break for it. At this time, I'm thinking this thing is going to get me and it's going to kill me. I sped onto the bridge, hoping the creature wouldn't follow, but it did. I could hear its roar echoing off the water below. I knew I was trapped. And then suddenly, the creature vanished. I breathed a sigh of relief as I reached the other side of the bridge. I thought I had finally lost the creature, but as I looked back, I saw it emerge from the darkness. Its eyes were still fixed on me. It must have fell off the side of the bridge, because when it came up the embankment on my side, it was limping and holding its left arm. It let out a huge roar. And I couldn't outrun it forever. I needed a new plan. I remembered a small cabin on the edge of the woods not far from where I was. I decided to make a break for it. I sped toward the cabin. The creature hot on my heels again. This time it was injured, and I'm sure it was blaming me. I could hear its roar getting closer and closer as my fuel gauge is now almost dipping below E. I reached the cabin and leaped out of my truck, slamming the door behind me. I locked the door, leaned against it, breathing, out of breath. But as I looked around, I realized I was not alone. The cabin was dark and musty, the air thick with the scent of decay. I fumbled for a light switch, but there wasn't one. I stumbled forward, trying to find a lamp or a candle. That's when I saw it, a figure huddled in the corner. At first I thought it was a person, but as I looked closer, I realized it was something else entirely. It was a creature with the same eyes, looking back at me, that had been chasing me. I froze, unsure what to do. The creature didn't seem to notice me at first, but then it looked up. Our eyes met, and I felt a jolt of fear. The creature started to move toward me. It was a smaller one. I backed away, trying to find a way out, but there wasn't one. The creature kept coming. Its eyes were fixed on me. I was trapped. The creature had me cornered. I closed my eyes, preparing for the worst. But then I heard a loud crash. I opened my eyes to see the creature stumbling backwards. The front door of the cabin had burst open, and a figure stood in the doorway. It was a woman, tall and imposing. She had a look of fierce determination on her face. The woman strode forward, her eyes fixed on the creature. She raised her hand and fired 3 shots from her revolver. The creature let out a painful roar as the woman struck it all 3 times. I followed the woman out of the cabin. She was telling me to follow her as we ran through the night. The woman led me to a small cottage on the edge of the woods, then motioned for me to enter. Inside the cottage was a warm and cozy place. The woman gestured for me to sit by the fire. "Who are you?" I asked, still shaken. She said, "I'm a hunter," she replied. She said she heard me yelling for help, and I didn't even remember yelling at all. The woman smiled, her eyes gleaming with triumph. "You are safe now," she said. "Seems my 357 has saved us both." I nodded, still trying to process the events of the night. The woman handed me a cup of tea as I sipped it gratefully. I returned home the next day. This is the first time I've shared this encounter. I'm not sure really what to think, but I know that I don't drive those back roads no more. I take the interstate. As much as I love the smell of the fresh air and the countryside, I'm not willing to risk this thing catching me. Because I know on those back roads I was doing at least 45. I was afraid to go any faster because I knew if I crashed it was all over. What do you think happened? It sounds like there might have been a baby one in that cabin you went to. For some reason this thing was chasing you, and maybe it thought you was headed to that cabin and its child was in danger. That's the only thing I can think of. And sometimes these things just chase people. They decide that you're a meal and they're determined to catch you. Being a dogman, a werewolf, an upright canine, whatever you would want to call it, it sounds like this one had its sights set on you, and you're pretty blessed to have got out of it. Don't forget tonight, guys, I'm going to be live, boots on the ground, 9 o'clock p.m. Central Daylight Time. Come over, join us, guys. I hope you enjoyed this encounter. And as always, keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner. And we'll see you on the next one.